Welcome back, everybody. In this episode, I'm going to make a very rudimentary upgrade system where we can increase our health capacity, our damage output, and also get access to the bomb upgrade. I'll also make it so when we attack and kill enemies, it gives us XP, which then leads us to leveling up and giving us points to spend on upgrades. So let's jump straight in. Let's pop over to one of these slugs. Okay, let's call it main slug. So we need to think about what happens when the slug spawns. They need to have a health, and obviously their health is 1, but we could make it so that their health can level up as well. No, let's keep it simple. So when they spawn, they're going to have 1 health, okay? So on initiate, I'll just have it so we do the math function, and we set a value of 1. And on local 2, slug health. So yeah, when they spawn, they have 1 health, and then when they get hit, actually this is kind of pointless because they only have 1 health, right? So all it is the on hit. Yeah, so if we go to the on hit, this is where we have to think about the XP of the player. So first of all, obviously we need to think about how the XP system will work. If we make it so each of these gives us 1 XP, we can think about how long our game is and stuff like that. Obviously, this is some high-level stuff that if you were to make a full, real game, you would kind of want to think about how easy it is to cheese the system, by... If I just killed them all, went out, came back in, killed them all, went out, came in, killed them all, you don't want to make it so they just upgrade every single time. So what I'm going to do is obviously think about them giving you 1 XP, each of them. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then maybe the first level, it needs 5 XP. So you'd be like, great, I level up. And the second level makes it 10 XP. And then, maybe it's 20 after that. And then it goes up in that vein of not exactly doubling, but there might not be nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so let's just implement some things here. So let's just have a math function, put it before the hide just for safety reasons. When they hide, it often it's basically shutting down everything, and I found that when you play on mobile, different things happen, so I'm trying to make it legitimate. Okay, so player XP. And obviously I'll make it so there's like a player max XP, and when they get to the max XP, then they basically level up, right? So we just want to add a value of 1. Very easy. I'll clamp it just for safety reasons. Okay, so now when we kill the slug, it gives us 1 XP. Obviously, we also want to do it on the bomb. So on the group 3. And that'll mean we'd have 1 extra XP. So now if we think about, obviously I'll need to copy this, paste this around. I also need to put on a custom event, but I won't worry about that right now. I can do that off screen. So what I'm going to do now is what I'm actually going to do is go into this, the update of the health value. If I change the frame, you can see this is the player's health, right? And I can make it so they have to upgrade their health, you know what I mean, as one of their stats, which would be quite good. And obviously max health would be, when we set the value of health, when we re-enter the scenes and stuff, we would be setting it to max health rather than just this arbitrary value of 4. This is called hard coding, where you basically have a value in and you don't have an easy way to change it out. Yeah, so obviously it's up to you if you want to avoid hard coding, but obviously in full games you definitely do, depending on what it is. So yeah, I'm going to use this health thing to basically know my XP. So I'm going to make it so let's put it in a group first. put it in a group. Let's call the group. Let's call the group XP. And then basically, we want to basically know what level they're on. So I would use a switch, but I know that switches can inflate the size of your game, and also it can stop the build happening if you put too many switches. So if so what I'm going to do instead is just have multiple if statements. So if compare with value, delete the else. There we go. So if the XP, if the player XP is actually, I need to be checking the level first. So let's make another variable, call it player level. And if it's equal to 0, which it is right now, then we want to check the XP. So if value compared with variable, and I could make a system that it checks each level, and then it basically asks whether or not it is the correct level yet. But if I'm going to be putting this in a custom event, then you can't. I don't think you can have a custom event in a custom event. Let's see if you can. Let's put the bomb in here. No, you can't, and the reason is because you have to like collect the variables, and like you can't set a variable of a like the actors and variables. You can't set it inside a custom event because it's not in a scene to do it. So I would have to do that in every single I would have to do that in every single one of these, which isn't great. And means if I want to change it, I would have to change everything. But at the same time, it will be in a custom event itself. Decisions. So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to kind of put that out of my brain for now and hard code in the values, and just so we can keep this moving. So I'm going to say when the XP is greater than 5, disable the else. Then we want to increase the player's level by 1 and reduce their XP by 5. So let's do the math functions again. We can do the player level, and we can add value of 1. We could just set it to 1 since we know where it's 0, but this works better for copy and pasting around. Yeah, so the player XP, so then now we have to reduce player XP by 5. Subtract 5. And what this will mean is if the player's level is 0, then and their XP is more than 5, then it basically adds a level to them and then subtracts 5 XP. And their level is to indicate how much XP it is to go to the next level. What I want on top of this is a point system. So I'm going to have another math function, and I'm going to add another variable, rename it to points. And the points will be used for purchasing upgrades. So I'm going to add a value of 1. Obviously, different levels can award different values, but let's just have 1 on this. So now if we kill this thing, we kill this main slug, it will give us 1 XP. Let's just check. Yeah, it will give us 1 XP. So if we kill 5, it will bring us to level 1. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm basically going to have a check here, and it will just display the dialogue. And what I'm realizing is every frame, this will be called upon. What I really want to do is have a value inside this slug when we kill it, setting a value to true. So what that will mean is it will mean that I can have a value in here that it basically says is, needs to check level true. And if it is true, then it then goes into this and does all the calculations and then sets that back to false. So what that will mean is once we have multiple levels, it's not constantly checking every single frame what level they are and if they need to upgrade. You know what I mean? Like we're like once I have how many of the levels I'm gonna have, imagine 20. You don't want to be checking every single frame 20 things. So by having an extra check on top, it will make your game smoother. I hope. Obviously, it should help, but it might not. But I'm going to do it anyway because that's what I like doing what I should because it means it takes a lot of effort off of it later down the line. So math functions, I'm just going to set to true a value, global value, and I call it check player level. And then I can go back into this thing, and on update, I can have another thing saying if true, and then put that inside it, disable the else. So when the check player level value is true, it then does what it needs to do. But if it isn't, then it just skips by. And what that means is it's taking down the number of things it needs to do on update. And I remember that I need to put this onto group 1 as well. Right, I can try copy and pasting this around, but we both know that it might cause some issues. But let's hope for the best. And let's test this out. I just remembered I want to have at the end of this check player level, I need to change it to false. So set false, player level true. Yep. And then have a display dialog, and then you are level, and then have the player level display. So it will say you are level, and then display your level. Simple and easy. So I'm expecting there to be a problem with the enemies because I copied and pasted them without much regard for their values. But they seem to be working fine. You're level 0. You're level 0. Okay, so it is obviously updating the values, but it's because I put it outside of the actual check of the level itself. It's I should have put this in here. Yeah, you see, I already had the display dialog there. I didn't write anything. Yeah, so if we kill 5 of these, it should upgrade our level. You're level 0, and final one. Oh, I realized I put greater than 5. It should be equal to or greater than. But let's see. You are level 1. Fantastic. And obviously, there won't be any more levels because I didn't do it like procedurally or anything. But there we go. That's we've made it so we're now level, and that should mean we also have a single point. So now I'm going to make it so when we talk to this dude up here, he lets us put our stats up. So now what I'm going to do is think about that. I've already considered what it kind of works like. I'll make this really simple for now. It'll just be a point and click scene, and then have some actors here, and they'll like mean something, right? So if I have obviously the bomb will be its own upgrade. I want a health upgrade. And that's obviously the bars. And I also want a attack upgrade. So I'll have that as the bone. Okay, so each one of these can be its own button, right? Because we're in point and click mode. So let's just put them in the middle and let's think about how we're going to do this. Obviously, I'm going to make it so there's a trigger here that changes the scene back to the altar scene. Call this upgrades. And I'll make it so when we talk to this guy, it changes our scene back to, to this scene. So when we talk to him, it will take us to this. When we click on this, it will take us back to this. Very simple. And now what I'm going to do is think about the actual upgrades. So let's remember how the bomb works. I'm going to do that one first. Okay, so I will need to make in the bomb script, a value that basically tells the game that we have the bomb upgrade. So that's very simple. So on interact, let's just do that bit first. Math functions set to true. It will be the global variable, and it'll be called bomb upgrade. So now the game will know that we can have the bomb upgrade once we click on this. So what I'm going to do is go into the bomb custom event, and I'm going to say if true, and then put that there. Disable the else. Make sure we call this variable bomb upgrade. And then we make sure we put what we had before in there. So when we press select, it checks, do we have the bomb upgrade? And if we do, then it does what we did in the other episodes, right? Very simple stuff. And now you just need to make sure that you go back through these and you have on the, it's on the initiate of the scene, we have the correct values. And obviously this isn't actually using the correct one. We want it to have a custom event of it. So there we go, bomb upgrade, bomb, player X, player Y. And the great thing is I obviously named my things in the custom event the same as the main one. So that it's very easy to know what I need to type in, especially if you haven't done it in a while and you come back. So let's make sure we do that on the other ones. See, it's on the scene initiate, and all I have to do is just update this to bomb upgrade. Yes, scene initiate. The first one we just put to bomb upgrade. And then I'll make it so I'll test this. I won't bother needing the I won't bother needing to get that single point in order to unlock it. I will just I'll just test it now. Okay, so let's try and see if the bomb works now. If we just if we go in, what we should expect is it does not work because we don't have the bomb upgrade set to true. And I'm mashing select, mashing start. I don't remember what button it was. I think it's select. But it does not work, which is fantastic. So now if we go to the guy and then see what we can do. So obviously we have our attack button as the interact button, which is very frustrating, which means we cannot interact with him. So I will just switch it from A to B. Very simple. And I should fix that. There we go. And obviously our mouse is our character, which obviously is very janky. But if we interact with this thing, obviously we get no feedback on whether or not it worked, but we just hope it did. Okay, so the bomb now works. We have to just, get that upgrade. So now we can make it so the bomb has, a certain number of points in order to upgrade. And we can do the same stuff for the health and the attack. We just have to... luckily, our previous enemies, they basically just take one single hit. But when we start having like bigger boss enemies, we will want them to take more damage, and therefore we can, we can do it as such. We could even make it that the bomb upgrades as well, and the bomb does more damage based on the group. Is it group 3 that it's on? That when it explodes, it attacks in group 3, and obviously it'll just be the bomb damage is what the group 3 uses to calculate the damage. But yeah, let's just have this. Let me just say if value. We want to say if the player points. It's just points. The points are equal to or greater than 1, then we can get the upgrade, and it can say you got the bomb. Otherwise, you don't have enough points for the bomb. Very simple, but that will now give us the feedback we need in order to use it correctly. And we can obviously do the same stuff for the health bars and the bone. And the bone obviously means the attack, and the health bars mean the health. So I'm going to do the health bars next, and it's just going to be when I interact with it, it increases the maximum health of the player by 1. So we want to do math function. We also want to create a new global variable called max player health. And we just want to increase the value by 1. Clamp it just for safety reasons. So when we click on this now, it will add our health, our maximum health, to an extra 1. So I now need to make a system in which these health bars, when obviously we get our health back, it puts it to the maximum health. So let's think about that. Okay, so here we go. It's obviously before we die. So before we die, it sets our health back to whatever it needs to be. So we just do math functions again, put it next to it just so we can see what we're doing. Health, then set to a variable, and it'll be max player health. Can delete the old one. And so when we die, it sets our health to the max player health. And we can even make it so when we begin, we have a max player health. But this starts to go into the deep like game design aspects where you have to begin in this level in order for the game to work, because otherwise when you start you always have 0 health. So just keep that in mind. So actually we can change it here. So max player health. And I realize we also have to set the max player health. So max player health is set to a value of, let's start it on 2 so that we can see the impact of it. It also means that the upgrade actually means something. So now the max player health basically determines how much health we have when we respawn. And I will also make it so that the altars, when we click on an altar, it gives us a health back. So in bigger fights, that is a an important thing. And as you're going through the dungeon, then that's also a useful thing. And we can obviously set it up the same as we did the bomb, where we basically just have, if the points are the correct points, then we do whatever we need to do. Obviously, I might change the bomb to have, it needs a certain number of points, for example, 5. But I'm just going to leave it on 1. And I'll just copy this so that I don't have to do it all again. We'll just, instead of adding the bomb, we add this thing. And we say, you increased your max health to, and then we can say the max health. Easy stuff. So we also need to do this. We don't have enough points to upgrade max health. Luckily that fits. Very simple stuff. So now we can do the bone as well. And obviously this is creating a new system of the health. I think I might make it so the bomb... There's multiple ways to upgrade the bomb. I'm thinking about this pretty hard. Obviously, we could have it so the bomb's damage increases. We could make it so the amount of bombs we hold increases. But I think, for simplicity's sake, I'll just keep it the bomb as the bomb. Otherwise, I'd be increasing my workload a lot. And it might be that different enemies react differently to the bomb anyway. So we can think about that later, and we can always add it if we really feel like the game needs it. But right now it doesn't, and it'll just be increasing our workload. And let's do the same thing for this. I'll just literally copy this over, and instead of having max player health, we can change it to player damage. And we add 1, and then just say you increased your damage to, and then make sure we say to player damage. There we go. So we also need to say the opposite thing as well. You don't have enough points to upgrade your, let's say damage. Fantastic. So now we have a value called damage that we can use as we attack stuff in the wild. And I'm also going to take this damage value and put it at the start of the game as well. Player damage, and I'm going to set it to 1. So at the start of the game we have 1 damage, we have 2 health, and we don't have the bomb. Very simple stuff. Currently the health, resetting us to the correct health only works in this level because it's not on a custom event yet. So what I'll do next is I'll do that, and I'll make sure everything is set up correctly. So I've copied it in, and all I'm doing is replacing all these variables with the correct one from the actual original script. I'm just naming them. It's not actually choosing them, it's naming them, and you have to choose them when you copy this custom event in replace of the original script. Okay, so this is in the custom event. I've made it so it has the health bars. I've named everything to what it is when you're looking at it in here. So now if I close up all this, and then I just use the custom event, see it's right here, the health, then we can set we know exactly what we're setting when we set these. So max player health, player XP, player level, points, player check level, and the health bars. There we go. So if I disable this, I'm not going to delete it, but I'm just going to disable it so it won't work. But if this doesn't work, then we can still access the old stuff. And let's test that out. Okay, so you see here we now have 2 health when we begin. We don't have any points, so we can't actually buy anything. But let's get the bomb thing, the bone, sorry. Let's kill some slugs and see if we can get some points. Okay, I'm now level 1. Fantastic, so now we can use that 1 point that we've gained and try and increase our health, for example. Yeah, let's try our health. You increased your max health to 3, so now let's go back out. Wait, I've just realized, do we actually decrease the points? No. I wonder if any of you guys watching realized that before I did. So now technically our max health is 4, but obviously we only have 2 health right now, so if I die, it should respawn us with 4 health. Fantastic. Yeah, so what this means is we need to make sure we reduce our points value when we buy the upgrade. Simple stuff. So I've got points here, and I'm just going to subtract the value of 1. Obviously, it all depends on the points, so if the points are higher here, then we should change this so that we reduce the number that we actually want to reduce. And I'll just copy this and put this everywhere else. Now we have a system that lets us upgrade. Obviously, it's only 1 level right now, but we can easily go into the health on update, and then we can add another one of these. So I can now go copy event. It's actually this I want to copy. So I've copied this thing, and it's now checking for level 1. And we can set XP to 10. Make sure we reduce XP by 10 afterwards. And we can obviously still adding 1. Our points are still adding 1, and it obviously still works in saying what level we are. So yes, we now have 2 levels, and we can keep going like that. We need to make sure that we copy and paste these slugs. I'm going to create a custom event of them just so it's easier. Though the annoying thing is, it's still worth it though. Do you see? Because I'm referencing 1, 2, 3 things on this group, but when it goes into like group 3, it becomes less meaningful because you'll still have to set this in the custom event. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go away and I'm going to put all of this slug stuff onto custom events, and then I'll get back to you when I've done that. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just going to rename this to just slug 1 again. You see this now has it now has the custom events. I've got slug group 1 here, group 3 here, and update. So you see there, group 1, group 3, and on update. And this definitely simplifies how easy it is to copy and paste. I'll just show you. Might be too many slugs, but obviously they're each called slug 1, but let's just rename them slug 3 just so we can know what we're looking at. So although I've copied and pasted it around, it still is referencing slug 1. So I'm gonna make sure that each one is actually referencing the correct slug. And obviously that's way easier now that I've made this custom event, because it's just 3 different things I need to make sure that say the correct thing, rather than the multiple. It was more than 5 before. So this definitely simplifies the copy and pasting process, and also means if I update something in the slug script, it updates every single script. The only way that it would become annoying is if you keep adding variables to the custom event, because then you have to add the variable into every single slug that you've copied so far. So I recommend making small things so you can easily make sure they work, making a small amount of levels so you don't have to copy and paste and change this constantly as you grow your game. Keeping it small, and then once you know it works, then you can copy and paste and it won't be that hard on you. I know it can be quite tiring when you have so much that's changed, and it means you have to go back through everything and then update everything you've already done. It's definitely not fun. But at the same time, it is a part of game development, so just keep that in mind. This is how you make games. Obviously, it's not always going to be in like visual scripting, but it basically is. Okay. So I'm just going to go through and replace all these guys as well. It's referencing self here now, but I think it will break. I want to test it though, because it would be very nice if it did work. You see how it says slug free? But like I said, the self can often be not self directly referencing, and often something will go wrong. Like it might think that it's referencing a slug from a completely different scene, or it might be referencing the player rather than itself. So it's definitely worth testing, but let's see. Okay, so this is what I'm telling you about the player messing up. The slug is just out of reach here, and obviously it loads in it before you can see it, and it's not actually referencing itself; it's referencing the player, like I thought might happen. So I need to make sure that it references itself directly. You can now press play again to test this. Now that we've put the references on the slugs. So let's quickly test this out, and you don't have enough points for the bomb, you don't have enough points to upgrade myself, you don't have enough points to upgrade the damage. Let's go back and go. We could do this for... Okay, so we just reset and we have 2 health. So what I'm thinking happens is this first level we didn't set up correctly. We just need to... I can imagine... Yes, we didn't put the correct... We just need to copy this back from here, because this is the official health thing, and obviously we're not using it. So let's use it, because I think it was setting it to 4 when we enter the scene. I really don't know. It might still work, but at least it should be cleaner. Yeah, look, we see I have 2 health. We just picked up that bone. We just got given 4 health. So let's see. Picked up the bone. Game manager. Health set to 4. There we go. We don't want that. We just can delete that. That's easy, simple fix. Okay, so we're back with the bone. Let's keep swinging. And let's go into the dungeons and see if it works. It seems like it's working. We haven't been frozen out this time. Hopefully as we keep going. Obviously, I haven't set it up with the imp yet, but that's completely fine. It's incremental. I want to make sure this works before we waste too much time on everything else. Was there meant to be a slug here? I may have set the wrong... Ooh, level 1, fantastic. I may have set the wrong value on the, the on-hit event of this slug that was meant to go here. And it meant that when the first slug died, it also hit this one. That's what I'm thinking happened, but I might be wrong. Might just have not put in. Okay, let's keep going and see if we can defeat some more. Okay, this slug is here now, so I don't know. Very confusing. Okay, we're in the special level now, and I've never gone past this before. See what I can do. Ooh, you got me there. But we can now get the bomb. We haven't got to level 2 yet, I don't think. But we can just stay in this level and milk it, which arguably isn't that fun. but also it's quite challenging in here. If there was just one slug, it would make it way harder. Let's see. Okay, we're level 2. Yeah, if we decrease the level size, I think it might help a little bit. I think I need to redesign the tile set and the player character and the altars in general. So I think I'll save that for a different episode, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. I think I'm going to leave it here because it's kind of at a good point to leave it, really. We did quite a lot in this episode. We added a system that when we kill things, it gives us XP. We made it so we can upgrade ourselves with the bomb, and we can also upgrade our health values, and we can also upgrade our damage output. We haven't implemented the damage yet, but we have made it so we can get more health. We've implemented a leveling system where we can increase our levels by gaining XP, and obviously, like you saw here, when I clicked on this with the extra point, it wasted our point on that. So I need to make it so if it is true, then it doesn't, spend it on the bomb, which is an easy fix. Yeah, I think I'll leave it here, guys. So I'll just put my patrons up on the screen right now. Thank you to you guys. You're the best. Remember to like the video if you liked the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And in the next episode, I'm going to work on the artwork for the dungeon so that we can start making this look more like a real professional game. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.